So my name's Tom Walker. I oversee the client advisor team here at Landis. My team is, the first face that you'll meet when you come into Landis. Every time you complete that application and you cross another threshold, there'll be a client advisor there. My name is Tom Walker. I oversee the client advisor team.
Sorry, go.
Well, we're back.
We're back.
Echo? Okay, I love it. I love it. Now I get to hear my own voice and work through all this. I love it. What I was saying there. So my team is all about helping each of you complete your application. We will be here from the start of the process all the way through closing, working, in step with Akeisha to ensure the most simple path forward for you too. So we're able to answer the easiest questions as far as like troubleshooting the application and login information, all the way to the extremes of, providing some light financial coaching, and helping you make the best decision to put forth the best application possible, and maximizing budget. So that's really my role in my team. Michaela is here. She is boots on the ground. So she is a local North Carolinian, I believe.
Carolinian.
Carolinian, apologies, making friends everywhere. So she has been with Landis almost since its inception too. So she is a tremendous partner with us, works a ton with our agents, works a ton on the training side of things, making sure everyone is, rolling the boat in the same direction too. So any questions you have, feel free to pop them into the chat. And she'll be able to answer them. If you're not comfortable doing that, no worries. The last slide here is going to be a link to my calendar. So if you have any additional questions, you can just snap a quick picture of that and we can, set up some time to do some individual, training or some individual connections about the program. So with all that out of the way, we'll kind of jump into the content here. Really, the kind of three main goals of this are just introduce rent to own to everyone on board here, explaining it kind of in the broad strokes, but also getting into the important nitty gritty details. Number two, I'll give you a description of, what it means to work with Landis specifically, really what we believe in and what we try to keep at the front of our mind in every interaction, every decision we make with our clients. And then number three, we just want to give some hope in a tough situation. Homeownership is an amazing goal, a worthwhile one, but it's difficult. It's something that, you don't stumble into. So we just want to show that there are tools, resources, and people that are dedicated to helping you get there. So if we can do those three things, we can have ourselves a nice Thursday, and we won't regret missing those happy hours or anything that it was put on hold to be here with us tonight. So without further ado, we'll jump on in. So let me just click on through here with Landis. We are super passionate about homeowners. That's what we love to do. We love transitioning renters into homeowners. It's what unites us here tonight. It's why we all decided to get together on this Thursday and really just talk about it. The challenging part is that there's not a single path out there. Everyone has a unique path to get to homeownership. They're starting at different points and they're going to finish at different points as well. The important part is just presenting the information to you so we can find that right path together. And it's not so easy, but it is a tremendous mission to go forth. And it's something that, you're not alone in. There's 45 million renters in America. I like to always just pause there. That's a big portion of the country. I myself is a renter with aspirations of eventually homeowning. I have friends older and younger that are in a similar boat that are wanting to transition into homeownership because of the great advantages that it has. So over there on the right side of the slide, you see that little arrow pointing down. There's about a 40x multiplier as far as wealth gap as you go from, as you transition from renting to homeownership. A lot of folks say it is kind of the benchmark of the American dream is owning your own home. And there's a lot of people just walking stride with you to get there. And we're just, fortunate enough to be speaking to a couple of you here tonight, but you're not alone. It is really my point here. There's people like you and there's people that really want to help folks like you. And it's a really worthwhile mission. So you're going to hear me reiterate this point all the time. Our mission is to guide you on your unique path to home ownership. I'll say it again just because I love it so much. It's a unique path to home ownership, and it's something that we want to help you find right next to you. It's not a matter of just, slamming it into the same old machine. There's a lot of different bells and whistles that can be pulled to get us there. And you've taken the first step here tonight. And every decision or every piece of advice that is shared with you while you're interacting with Landis is with your unique path in mind. We want to make sure that it's going to be comfortable, but also gives you that little nudge to keep heading in the correct direction. Excuse me. What is really cool about the position that Landis is in is that we've had a lot of really, really great success over the years in doing this. And when I say this, I mean transitioning renters into homeowners. You'll see a woman and her family here on the left. I think she was also on the opening slide as well. Her name is Glennis. She is all over our website because she's such just an amazing person, an amazing mother, and she really has an amazing story here. So I'm not going to read, the full quote here. I think there's at least 4 or 5 here on these next couple of slides of some of our, past clients that we've helped out with. We'll send these slides out at the end. If you click on some of these links, you'll be able to actually hear like a firsthand account of the entire story of Glennis or Barry. There's a great little kind of web series, or maybe we'll call it a documentary of what the process was like working with Landis, moving into the home, and eventually repurchasing. So I encourage you all to visit some of these, and hopefully while I was kind of narrating here, you've had the opportunity to read through a couple of them. Bottom line is we've been successful in the past, and we're all sort of addicted to the feeling of really helping people close on that home. It's kind of a high that we're all chasing here. And the great part is we've had some success. So we've had a taste of it, and now we just want to continue to help and do more. So I always love starting with those success stories and just letting you all know that this really does work because, there are some messages out there of when it turns south, but here with Landis, we always like to kind of preach the positive and talk about some success that we've had. So jumping into the details now, and this is really where it gets relevant into not just rent to own, but specifically Landis. So these next couple slides are all about kind of client and housing criteria. And then we'll kind of transition into a timeline and what it actually looks like for you. So what do you need to join Landis or, to be approved within Landis? 4 big categories here. So number 1, credit score. This feels like over every kind of commercial that we saw during the Super Bowl on TV, people are always preaching credit scores. Our minimum is 550. Specifically, when we look at applications, we take a look at the TransUnion version 4 FICO score. So it's a really long title. Don't worry about any of that now. Just know that kind of 550 is the benchmark that we're looking for. Dropping straight down, we are going to take a look at income. So a general rule is about $55,000 annually is what we are looking for to qualify based on income. The cool part here is that this can be across the primary and a co-applicant. So we have slots for 2 folks on the application. So it doesn't just have to be one salary. This can be a combination of 2 full-time salaries. It can be a full-time and a part-time. We're also able to factor in benefits. So anybody eligible for VA, Social Security, pension funds, any sort of disability, that is all going to be counted towards income. So we don't have to think about this as the traditional salary. Really, any sort of income coming in to your bank account is something that can be factored into that, budget calculation and approval decision. Jumping up to the top right here, we do take a look at cash deposits. We'll call it proof of assets. Really what we're talking about here is initial deposit. So with Landis, we require a 2 to 3% initial deposit based upon the value of the home. So just take, for example, a $200,000 home. We're going to want to see a minimum of $4,000 down before we're able to put an offer in onto the home. We will get into why that's so important later on when we have like a timeline. It's a little bit easier to visualize. But the kind of short story is here, that initial down payment to Landis is what will be used when you go out and apply for a loan and buy that home back from Landis. So again, a little bit more details on that later, but just wanted to address it here. And then the last piece here is something that we call rent to income. I would say a more common vernacular is debt to income. Debt to income and rent to income are, maybe cousins. I wouldn't call them brothers, very closely related with some small kind of changes in between. Really what this takes a look at is revenue and expenses, income and expenses. we want to see that you're keeping at least half your money that can go towards housing too. So kind of a complex wording of it here. But really the easiest way to think about it is if you have surpassed this minimum income and have control of your debt, you're in really good shape to be approved with Landis here. Transitioning now into the types of homes. So we talked about who we can approve. Now we want to talk about, what types of homes are we able to purchase for you all. So number one, we always start with budget. So 150,000 is our minimum, and then a $500,000 is our max. Anything in between is kind of the green area, and we're ready to move forward there. Dropping straight down, this is a big one for us. Home has to be built after 1970. The reason we picked that date is right about that time, there were some lead disclosure laws that were kind of put into place, the constructions of homes, there was some legislation put into place to make them a little bit safer. So anything built after 1970, we feel really good about, nothing harmful. We want to make sure that we're not purchasing anything that's, going to hurt you, the kids, or any sort of visitors, things like that. Continuing on down the line, single family homes or townhomes. That is what we're able to purchase. No condos, nothing modular, no manufactured homes. Single family is where we live, and then we can also work with townhomes as well. Transitioning up here to the top right, it's got to be move-in ready. So we don't want to purchase anything that is going to need major work. It's housing is one thing that you can just continue to throw money at sometimes. So we want to make sure that we're starting out on a level playing field and buying homes that are going to be, able or ready for you to move in and succeed as homeowners without, massive repair bills and things like that. And then finally, we are predominantly in the urban areas around larger populations. So we have a map that is available on our website. You can go and pop in zip code. You can search by the name of the town or specific addresses. Anything in the green area, we are able to purchase. Anything outside of that is typically something that we have to pass on. Don't worry too much about the map. We have a whole kind of property evaluation portal where you can put things in. Someone from my team will take a look at them and let you know if it's eligible or ineligible. So what we try to do is take all the work out of it for you, but these are kind of the 5 big categories that we are considering as we're making those decisions on if we're able to move forward with a certain property here. So now let me just take a quick sip here before we get into the timeline of things. So this is kind of the fun part, or the meat of the presentation, we'll call it, right? It's how it works, what it looks like from today all the way through the point that we close. So right now, your next mission, your homework, your takeaway assignment, whatever it may be, is you go out onto our website, landis.com, set up a client profile, and actually apply to the program. What this application looks like, you'll be given a set of, we call them modules. Kind of just think about sections of an application. So we'll ask about your address, we'll ask about income, we'll ask about who's going to be living in the property. Really anything that you put when you're looking to setting up like a bank account, I think is a somewhat fair assessment of what the application looks like. It's all completed online. I would say, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes, Michaela. What do you think there? That's probably about on average, isn't it? Yeah. It's super easy to work through. None of the questions are real stumpers. Gives us enough information to make a pre-qualification decision and kind of advance forward. So once that application is all completed, someone, either myself or someone from my team will reach out. Well, actually, in this case, it will be me. So you'll get a double dose of me, which I'm super excited about. I don't know about you guys. We'll see how this presentation goes from here on out. But you'll get a welcome call from me where we kind of get into the program a little bit deeper. At that point, I will have a better understanding of your profile, understanding of income, assets, things like that. And we can start to talk about your specific goals, the size of home that you're looking for, your timeline, really get much more, I would say, prescriptive about the type of home that you are looking to have. After that discussion, we'll kind of get into something called like document collection. So again, if you've been through this process before, or if you've applied for a credit card, even some apartments will ask you to verify the information that they find on an application. So we are going to ask for very basic documents. A good example, or I would say the standard package, would be your 2 most recent pay stubs, your 2 most recent bank statements, We'll want to see your W-2 from last year. And then we always ask for a picture of a photo ID or passport just to help with security and things like that. Why this is so critical is at this point, once everything is uploaded, we will shoot it over to our underwriting team. And our underwriting team is responsible for understanding and determining what an affordable housing budget looks like for you and the family moving forward. So their job is to not only max everything out, but also find a way to make sure that you have enough flexibility in that budget to find the right home for you while still having, money to go out on a Saturday night and Sunday night. Because we don't want to strap cash and have everything going towards housing. We want you to be able to live a little like you're doing now. And it's kind of an art and a science, right? There's some hard numbers where we just can't go above or below. There's also just kind of a little bit of nuance of understanding, what can be set aside for housing and what can be set aside for kind of those other, daily life expenses, excuse me. So underwriting will do all the math on the back end. You will be sent an approval letter, which will kind of set up all the finances for what your program will look like. So you'll have your full approval budget. You'll have an understanding of what those monthly contributions will look like. You'll also have an understanding of, or at least an estimate of what would need to be saved to eventually close on that property. All the numbers are going to be packaged up and kind of delivered to you in what we call an approval letter or approval email. And then that's when the fun really begins. That's when you reach back out to your lovely agent here. She's center of my screen. Hopefully she's center of your world, and go set up some housing tours. Ooh, I got a smile. You like that turn of phrase. So that's the point when you go out and you start looking at homes. This is the fun part, right? This is, why we sit here and go through these applications so we can start to envision our future in that home. So you go out, you tour properties, you eventually, narrow it down to one, and you shoot that information, over to Landis, and we actually work through the offer process and eventually buy the home. So once you find that property, send all the information to me. Lakeisha and I will work on a contract. We will put an offer out into the seller, and ideally we'll go under contract and buy that property. On the day of closing, when Landis takes ownership and we get those keys, you'll sign something that is called a home pathway agreement. This is basically your rent to own lease. This is kind of the whole purpose of the program, right? So that lease looks like this. It's going to be 12 months with an automatic 12-month renewal period if needed. If at any point during those 12 months, you're ready to go out and repurchase the home, you are 100% able to do so, really with no questions asked. Once you have that financing, you can turn around and buy it back, kind of in a flash, which is really great. The reason why I say we have that additional 12-month renewal if needed is sometimes our folks get into the property and life throws you a curveball and you need a little bit of additional time to build up the resources, to build up the finances, to actually go out and get that loan. We can do that. We're super flexible on the back end. We can extend, really give as much time that is needed before you're, forced or I shouldn't say forced, before you have to repurchase that home, which is really great. So again, I haven't said it in, probably 10 minutes. So it's that unique path to home ownership, right? We want to make sure that we are making this system work for you. So once you pick the house, pay the deposit, go under contract, we'll sign the leases. We'll also go ahead and take care of all the inspections and appraisals. Got a little bit ahead of myself here, so I'm back on number 5 here just to make sure we're all in the same spot. This is actually a super important piece, right? So a lot of our first-time home buyers aren't super familiar with what it looks like to work with an inspection or really understand an appraisal. So this is a piece that Landis really tries to take off your plate and kind of coach you through. So once we go under contract, we'll get an inspector out there, do a full look at the property, make sure that it's a strong investment, make sure that it's something that's really going to appreciate, make sure it's not something that's going to require constant maintenance, things like that, because we really want to protect your future. We also want to protect ours. So we want to make sure that we're buying a good home. Same goes for an appraisal. We're going to get it appraised, make sure that, what we're buying it for is really what the market is determining that it's worth. That's super important, really, when we turn around and look at the buyback. It's so much easier when an appraisal meets actual, contract prices, really makes it, go through seamlessly. So it's really important that we knock out that inspection and appraisal at that initial purchase and keep you along for the ride. Make sure that you're really involved in it too, because you're seeing it on the front end. Second time when you're graduating and looking to repurchase, and a lot of times you'll be in the driver's seat making those decisions of course, along with your coach the entire time, but just a good thing to kind of see in motion, which is nice. So after all that's taken care of, you move into the home, get everyone set up. And this is where we actually hand off to our coaching team. And the coaching team is something that I love to brag about. They really are the kind of all-stars of this organization. Yeah, hearts, right? That they get hearts everywhere because they are the folks that are really helping our clients improve their lives, making those dreams come true. Actually, I have a little slide here. This is just kind of a quick little synopsis of really what our coaches focus on. So it's the 3 C's of lending, the 3 C's of the coaches. When you move into that home within the first 30 days, you are going to sit down and have a call just like this with, we'll use Jeff. Jeff is a guy I'm pretty close with on the team, guy I work with a lot. You guys will sit down, have a great little introduction. Together, you will put together a plan of when you want to buy back your home. If it's 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, whatever it may be, you'll kind of pick a number and then back into a budget, back into a savings goal, and kind of back into, let's call it maybe some credit activities to help boost your application. Now, what I love about the coaching team is they are incredibly flexible. Some files need, constant communication, check-ins, weekly, monthly, quarterly, really doesn't matter to us. Your coach will be there when you need them, and they'll be there when you don't need them too. But really when you need them, you'll be able to pick up a phone or schedule something, ask questions, about certain accounts that you want to pay down, adjust savings plans, contribute more into certain accounts, really whatever is needed to keep you on pace to meet your goal. Your coach is able to do that. The 3 C's, specifically capacity, credit, and cash, are the main levers that they are going to be using to help boost your application. This is also what a future loan officer is going to take a look at when they are processing or underwriting your file. They want to make sure capacity, that you have enough kind of cash flow monthly, that you're able to, cover a house and taxes and all the fun stuff that comes with it. You're going to want to take a look at credit. Everyone's got a credit minimum. One of the main things that coaches spend a lot of time on is, ways to boost credit. So you kind of get that just as part of the program while you're living in the home. Something that's really important and a big piece of this process. And then number 3 is just cash. So savings plans, sticking to a budget. It's as simple as sometimes having someone that'll just hold you accountable too. So if you guys make a goal, it's great to have a kind of a third-party source or maybe somebody outside of the home to help keep everyone in check. I know me and my girlfriend constantly we'll say discuss about what our shared credit card gets spent on sometimes. It'd be nice to have a referee that would be able to kind of jump in and hold us both accountable without picking a side. That's really what our coaches are there for, to provide reputable advice and put you in the best position to succeed. So that was the long-winded brag, I guess, about the coaches. Love those folks to death. Everything that we turn over to them, they are able to polish, make tremendous homeowners. And they do it within, a timeline that makes sense for everyone. So that was it. That's really Landis. I saw the chat popped up a couple of times. So I think Michael has been answering those questions. But anything else that you guys have, I will put my little QR code here. So if you want to take your phones out, take a little, if you just hover over it, you'll get a link to my calendar. Happy to set up a call one-on-one where we can kind of get in deeper into things. There are some tools on the website that we didn't get a chance to discuss tonight. We kind of have some rental calculators and things like that too. So there are some additional bells and whistles here to help you prepare for the application. Just let me know, pick a time. It also has my phone number there too. So if you schedule something, just feel free to text me if it's like a one-off question. I like to be as accessible as possible here. An even more direct route, if you visit path.landis.com, you can actually just complete an application here tonight. Goal here was to be wrapped up by 7. That means you guys can all be pre-qualified by like 7:08 if we don't have any questions, which would be fantastic. And the cool part there is, once you get on the other side of pre-qualification, I'll be reaching out to you either way. So it'll save you, scanning that little QR code. But that's really all I had. Thank you so much for the time. It was awesome getting to present to everyone tonight. I know we'll stay on here for a couple of minutes and open it up for questions. So please, if you're comfortable, hop off mute and we can, answer some questions here. Feel free to just continue popping them in the chat, or we can, answer you at a later date. But can't thank you enough.
Let's ask Nikita's question live. Are student loans a factor?
Yes. So that is a great question. So, sorry, I'm all over on my screen here now. Yes, student loans are a factor. That's kind of the long story short, I suppose. The good news is, I know just in the past, probably 12 or 18 months, there's been some forgiveness of loans. Anything that's forgiven is not going to be factored into DTI. Otherwise, it will be factored in to DTI based on that minimum monthly payment, or sometimes if they're still frozen. I know there's still existing programs where where the payments are frozen. At that point, we factored in, I believe it's 0.5% of the overall value is what is attributed as a monthly payment.
Thanks for that. Keep them coming, guys. We love asking and answering questions all the time. And like, Tom said, we're a broken record, but everybody's path is unique. Credit can be a factor. Capital can be a factor. We get it. So we're definitely here to figure it out with you.
So while you guys are thinking, if you have a question, I'm going to put a survey because I don't want you to leave until you do that, because I'm going to do a giveaway. So somebody will win something. Amazon's my favorite, so I'm sure it'll probably be just an Amazon gift card. That's easy. So I need for you guys just to take the survey. Any questions? I know sometimes you can get in this setting and you're kind of quiet and don't want to ask. So you'll also have another opportunity if there was something burning that you didn't want to ask. Please ask that on the survey and I'll do my very best to get you an answer. So I'll put the link in the chat. So please respond to that, because that is the only way you can be in the drawing. If you showed up live, that is the only way you will be entered. We had a lot of people to register, but you guys showed up. So everybody might get a parting gift. I don't know how generous I feel tonight. So again, thank you guys so much for coming. That is the survey in the chat. If there are no more burning questions, I don't see anything else.
And Tom, you may have mentioned this and I was just, staring. The application is free, right? And it's just a soft pull. So there really is, I hate to say the no harm, no foul, but really getting started with at least trying is very easy with Landis because it doesn't cost you anything and it's not going to affect your credit.
Yeah, Michaela, that's a tremendous point. We actually have a fair amount of folks that work all the way through the application, get to that approval, and they go out and touring homes. What's so valuable about that is that you almost get a mortgage check-in. So you understand what a likely approval budget would be in the traditional like FHA route, or just regular kind of hard money loan, whatever it may be. We give you that mortgage check-in. We give you a full underwrite. There's no like transaction costs, and there's also no detrimental act or derogatory action on that credit report too. So
and there's no obligation either. So it's not like you're having to do anything. You can use it strictly as an information kind of gathering point, or really to catapult you into home ownership.
It's a great point. It's a great way to check in on your finances. If you don't like the budget, you'll know what you can do to improve it. If you love the budget, you can move forward with us, or you can go somewhere else. So it's a great service just to kind of get a check in with where you are in the current market too. So that's a great point, Michael. Thanks for bringing that up. Teamwork.
Well, it looks like we don't have any more questions. Yeah, so y'all schedule time with Tom. He's super knowledgeable, loves speaking about home ownership. So take the opportunity, because I'll tell you, he doesn't give this link out to everyone, I will say. Oh, we did have, are you able to utilize down payment assistance? And I think that this is crucial to mention. basically the short answer is yes. Tom, take it from
Yes.
there.
Yes, that is a great question. And I will actually go away from our QR code for a second here, but I will go back, I promise. Cash. So cash is super important. To be clear about down payment assistance, when Landis is buying the home, so during the first transaction, you're unable to use that down payment assistance because Landis is buying the home, we're the homeowner, not you. Where down payment assistance is so important is on that buyback. So when you are looking to build up cash to go out and get approved for that loan, you and your coach will sit down and kind of search through available programs. Either if it's the state level, the federal level, sometimes there's great programs for teachers, unions, whatever it may be. Go out, they will help you complete that application for down payment assistance because it is absolutely something that can be used when you're repurchasing that home from Landis, something that a ton of our clients do to help boost those cash reserves, and something that really helps that future mortgage payment be much more affordable. So down payment assistance is a huge portion of a successful graduation and a successful buyback. So love that you're asking that question. You're already thinking, to the next problem, which is awesome. This is all about forethought, thinking ahead, and planning. So great question.
Awesome. Well, it's 7:06, so looks like we're going to have several approvals in the next several minutes.
2 minutes. We got to get
2
clicking.
minutes left. It really is a pretty easy application on that front side. I mean, not going to lie, it takes 5 minutes, not even. So,
And then just the fact that it is a soft pull, so it won't really ding your credit. So you're just kind of here to kind of test the waters out. This is a great way to test the water to see what you need to do to get approved. So also keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Again, I will send an email with the link just in case you want to rewatch the presentation. We'll also include my information, of course, and Tom's scheduling calendar. So if you want to reach out to either one of us, we'll be glad to help you. And again, thank you all for jumping on. Well, we got one more. Yeah, the link, my referral link with the application will be in there, Tiffany. So you'll have that. If you give me like 10 minutes, you'll get an email with all of our information and you can get to applying. And let's see if we can get you on the path to home ownership sooner than you think. So again, thank you guys. And last question, that's it. Going once, going twice, and we are out of here.
Thank you all so much.
Y'all have a great night.